Hello, my name is Ilian Saint-Hilaire, and this is a demonstration of Intel AMT heuristic filters using Intel AMT Commander. So what I'm going to do here is I'm running on an Intel AMT 3.0 Weybridge machine, and I'm going to do something a little particular. I'm going to use Intel AMT Commander, and I'm actually connected to a router here, and the router is looping me back to this machine. So normally you would run Commander on a different machine than the AMT machine itself, but what I'm going to do here is run Commander on the same machine and just use a router to loop the traffic back. So this allows me to have the console right here and also to test heuristics, as we'll see in a minute. So I just connected to my own machine, and of course I get all the normal features of AMT all listed here: data storage, event log, and so on and so forth. But what I want to show is in the networking section, there is a section called heuristics, and this is what we're going to be looking at today. So heuristic filters only applies to traffic that is going outside or outbound from this machine, this Intel AMT machine. And the goal is to try to find that this machine has become infected and starts to attack other machines, and to take actions to prevent our own machine from attacking other machines. So this does not prevent other machines from attacking you, but it prevents your machine from attacking others. So just keep in mind, heuristic is only looking at outbound traffic. When you click on heuristics here, the first part is the policy, and the second part here is the current state. So the policy is what's happening, how the settings are set, so that you want to basically put the values here of when do you consider this computer to be sending out malicious traffic, and then the state we'll see below. So in order to change the policy, you can click on this Set Heuristic Policy button, and there's a couple of things here you can change. So first of all, heuristics in the AMT basically detects kind of unusual packets, things like connection initiations and stuff like that. And what you want to do is set thresholds for how many of these unusual packets do you need to get per second or per minute in order for the heuristic condition to trigger. You can set a fast rate or slow rate or both. If you remove both of these, you disable heuristics altogether. So I can disable the heuristics by just removing both, and now heuristic is disabled. Or I can set one, the other, or both. So for example, I can slay slow rate if you get if you get 100 events within 30 seconds, or if you get 10 events within half a second. This is what basically this means. Then the heuristic condition is met, and you will then go and start doing an action. So I'm going to leave it at the defaults here, but you guys can change this. The values that I put here by default are the ones that are specified in the Intel documents. I don't know if they're the best ones, but they're the ones that are recommended by some of the documents here at Intel. So I just going to leave these. Then, what do you do when the heuristic triggers? Well, you can block all traffic to that computer altogether. I mean, all traffic going out of that computer is just all blocked. Of course, that never applies to AMT itself. Even if you block all traffic, AMT is always available to receive traffic. You can also block only the offending port. If you have some software that is bound on a port and is scanning the network for other machines to infect, you can block only that port, or you can activate a policy. And this is a policy that you basically set up using the system defense policies right here. So if I have a drop all policy, I could have a policy that says rate throttle or so on and so forth. But in this case, I'm just going to block the offending port. Now the other thing is, you can decide if you want to permanently block or take this action permanently, or after a certain amount of time you want to go back to normal. So, for example, here, just for the sake of our demonstration, I'm going to say that after 10 seconds, I want you to go back to normal. So just, block the offending port, but if nothing goes on for a while, then after 10 seconds, just go back to normal. Now, this is just for a demonstration, but normally you would put something much bigger than that. If you go to stop mode here, this will basically make it permanent. And the only way you can remove one of these actions is by having one of the administrative consoles come in and unblock this port, or undo this action. But I'm just going to put my timer here at 10 seconds and say OK. There you go. So as soon as I do that, you'll notice that heuristic state is now running, and you see the little green icon here. And so right now, AMT is monitoring all outbound traffic. And actually, AMT is not fast enough to monitor all of the traffic. It's basically taking a sample of the traffic going out and looking for unusual events. So of course, at gigabit speed, you could have a lot of packets, more packets going out than AMT could possibly handle. But basically, AMT takes a sample of those outbound packets and checks for this heuristic policy. So now we have to find some way of triggering this, and lucky enough, we have a tool called Intel Network Traffic Tool. And this tool basically allows me to send out traffic, and basically it allows me to do one of the things it can do is test heuristic support. So what you want to do is select an IP address sweep. So you click on that. You want to select a list of addresses you're going to sweep. Now, one common mistake here is that the list of addresses you're going to sweep has to be outside your own subnet. So if you look at this computer here, I'm going to type ipconfig. Oops. ipconfig. You're going to notice that my own IP address is 5.80 on this computer. So if I swept a range of IP address in the 192.168.5 address range, Windows XP, Service Pack 2, and Vista will both first ARP the machine before sending the packet, and basically the built-in firewall won't send packets out, and so AMT will never see them because they will be blocked by Windows itself. So what we're going to do in order to make it work is we're going to sweep a list of addresses outside of our subnet. Just make sure it's a set of bogus addresses here, not sweeping some real address range. Then you can select the speed at which you want to sweep. We're going to just use the maximum. And then the packet size you want to use, we're going to just use 1 byte here, but it doesn't really matter. And as soon as I hit start, you're going to see the sweep going on, and poof. Here it hit the trigger, and you'll notice that what it did is it tells you at what time it hit the trigger. It also tells you what reason or what was the cause. In this case, the fast worm detection, or the fast rate, was hit. So 10 events within half a second. That's the event that got hit this time. And you'll see that the action taken was that the port was blocked. Port 8888, protocol 17, which is UDP, that was blocked right now. And you'll notice that it keeps blocking it because AMT, the network traffic tool here, is sweeping. So right now, this tool may think it's actually sweeping or sending packets, but on the network card in hardware, all these packets are getting blocked because of the heuristic filter. Now I'll hit stop. And you'll notice that because it says clear after 20 seconds, we'll see after 20 seconds, you'll see that the encounter resolution will trigger, and this will go back to normal. One thing I do want to note is that Intel AMT Commander actually polls the value of the heuristic state every 5 seconds. So you have, it's going to be 20 seconds plus 5 seconds for the polling time. So there you go. Another way you can clear the state is I can say start, and it's going to go back to in time encountered, and I can artificially clear the state by clicking clear and say OK. Then it's go back to running. But of course, now that I'm sweeping, it's going to go right back to time encountered here because I encountered this again because I keep sweeping. But one way to you can resolve using this timer, or you can just clear the state. Of course, you can hit refresh here, and Commander does it automatically every 5 seconds. But you can do this, manually by clicking this refresh button, just to make it faster. Anyway, this is my demonstration of Intel AMT Heuristics. This is available in Intel AMT 3.0 machines, and so that's a Weybridge motherboard. Thank you, and have a great day.